It's fucking insane, dude.
I hate it. All right, ready?
Can you eat pussy like that?
I've tried to start 7 times.
Just click record and then tell me.
It is recording. It's been recording this whole time.
Oh, so then
and then I've been about to speak, and you don't. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Broverwatch podcast. My name is Adam Cook. Cake. Yikes, boys. And as always, I'm joined by Calder, Amos Wood. Calder, you look like a gremlin.
Hello, my name is Adam Cook.
All right, well, that's a little far. For those of you who don't know, the Broverwatch podcast is a podcast where two little boys talk about the Overwatch League.
Fuck today, dude.
Talk about the Overwatch League, games, news, and other events. This week was quite the doozy. It was Stage 4, Week 2 that just happened. We'll go through the games. Most of them we'll breeze over, but we'll focus in on a couple. Most of them on the last day. Because that was quite a doozy of a day.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, usually we do some news. There's no news. The only thing that is worth talking about is a bunch of players are complaining about the chairs, because apparently they got a chair sponsorship, and now they changed all the chairs. And not only are they less comfortable, but the armrests are fixed. Like, they're not adjustable at all. So, like, I know Hacksaw has complained, and he's like, just because of my hand and arm placement, and, like, how high my DPI is, I need my arms to be in a specific spot. But now it's like... and I can't. Yeah. So
this is dumb. This is a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it is a very dumb thing to do.
Well, not to get a chair sponsorship, but like to get that model of chair, or to get a chair sponsorship from a fucking trash company.
Or since
I don't even know what they're from, dude.
But it's not even like the Overwatch was League. League was like, we're partnering with this chair company. They just kind of did it, and they're like, we have new chairs, and no one likes them. And it's like, okay, well, maybe have good chairs, and that might be a change that would benefit the league. But, yeah, anyway, just figured I'd mention that. They should look into that, because not only is it possible that it could worsen the performance of some players, but it could even worsen their health if players, like, get back problems or something, or they have wrist or arm problems because they can't place their...
Yeah.
You never know.
And then even like resting your wrist on the desk, because if they rest their elbows on the arms, that hurts a lot, because I do that and I'm a stupid bitch with weak arms.
Everything you just said is true. Let's every single word, and that's rare.
Do we care about Team China and Team Korea officially announcing their 7?
Oh, we care about Team... Oh, wait, we talked about both, didn't we?
We talked about
Korea.
Korea 12.
Pretty sure we talked about
their 7. Because you said we should have clarified that on the podcast.
Right.
So Korea's 7 are Mono, which was kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Choi Hyobin, Carpe, Architect, Hawksall. Not surprising. It's a little weird, I guess. Well, yeah, Architect's pretty flexible now. IDK and Bedosian. The supports are probably the not like strangest selection, but most unexpected, I think. Because just thinking about all the Korean support players.
Yeah, apparently he just
wouldn't expect them, but
apparently he just works best in a mixed roster of those.
Wait, IDK?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Bedosian.
I was talking about both.
Oh. My guess is just both of them were more stable on a mixed roster.
And it doesn't really matter how good you are in Overwatch League. It matters how well you can play on this team.
Yeah. And like that's why Twilight's not on here and why Bumper's not on here. It's like they're great players on Vancouver. And the reason Hawksall made it over them is because Hawksall's skills transcend the Vancouver Titans. A lot of people were saying that they were a little surprised that Carpe got in over Decay, because Carpe has not had a great season.
But, maybe he plays well on this team.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's like,
I was
Why doesn't Twilight get in? You know, because Twilight's better than Bedosian.
but like
Bedosian made the team.
But they said
so it could
that
just be the same thing.
They didn't really give a reason for Carpe. They just were like, Carpe's in because he's good. But for Bedosian, they were like, Bedosian performed really, really well in scrims, and Twilight didn't because he seems to just do better. Like, he's good on Vancouver, not in a mixed roster. Whereas, like, Carpe was just like, Carpe's good, so he's on. And it's like...
Well, it might be that Decay's a choking little bitch.
Well, they did get Architect, so I'm thinking maybe they just play Architect Hawksall most of the time.
I think they probably will, because Architect, though he's not like great at every hero,
his hero
he
pool's
can play
deep.
a lot. Yeah.
I think Mono Choi is a fantastic tank line. Holy.
Yeah, that's literally the most consistent tank line in the league.
Yeah.
And then the Chinese team aren't really organized in any sort of way, or maybe they are. I don't know. You've got a lot of Chengdu hunters. I guess
that was
not
to be expected
because they're I guess it's just seeing the jerseys on them. You're like, oh wow, a lot of Chinese boys on this team. But you got Jinmu.
Well, obviously the Chinese people are on the China team.
There's 3 other Chinese teams, dude.
Yeah, but you said a lot of Chinese boys on this team. It's Team China.
I meant Chengdu.
Because you said Chinese, and I was like, yeah, no doi, ya gang boy.
Why didn't they pick fucking Twilight for Team China? So you've got Jinmu, Elsa, Gushui, Leave, Eileen, Yveltal, and Koya. We were talking about this last night. Is Koya?
What? I still don't understand how you could read that as Koyo. It's Kyo.
How I'm illiterate last night. So that's
true. I'm surprised you can pronounce
this
Yveltal.
Is the thesis, and it's that I'm illiterate.
Thesis? I guess that's the joke. Oh, I thought you were saying this is the thesis. Like, this is my thesis on the situation, but you said thesis, and I thought you were mispronouncing it on purpose for the joke, but it turns out you're just making a Vine reference. I think that this...
More beauty guru, but...
I think this is a fantastic roster. Jinmu, Leave, Eileen is the greatest DPS line.
This is because Leave is on Chengdu too.
Yeah, basically now. Yeah.
They're just like, oh, we're going to use Chengdu, and then we're going to take the best of the other ones.
Yeah.
Because
Eileen's very
not really flexible enough
good.
For this.
And Gushui is obviously... Honestly, good. I predict that the top... I think it will be first place Korea, second place China, third place US or Canada, and then US or Canada in fourth.
Yeah, isn't that kind of how it's been every year, or it would be?
Well, US didn't come in, didn't even make it out of quarters last year, dude.
Fucking cucks, dude.
Wow,
Sinatra's a thrower apparently. Anyway,
they were just super cocky last year. I hope. I mean, here's the thing: as a fan of those players, I hope they don't get cocky and they just do really well. Because I like a lot of the players. But as a Team Canada fan, I hope they get cocky and crash and burn again. That's evil.
I hope they're... Never mind.
But honestly, with Corey... Man, if they don't take Corey. I'm assuming Corey's on the team, though. With Corey on the team, I can't see them getting, super cocky. Just because he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Any trash talk he'd do would just be like... Hey, we're going to crush him, though. Whereas last year it was we're the best team.
I'm going to get 63 elims on Hanzo.
Yeah.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Only half of them are going to be from Storm Arrow, though.
That's crazy.
What
a nutty boy. We'll get into that a bit later.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. First,
I'm sorry, dude.
We're just going to go through all the games. Guangzhou faced off against London Spitfire. We should really write down our Quickie Predickies every week so we can see the next week if we were right.
I could do that because I don't really do anything.
Oh, good call. Well, we're not there. We're not there yet. So, but good idea getting ready. Nice paper, dude.
Yeah.
Guangzhou versus London.
Never mind.
I'm pretty sure we predicted Guangzhou here. Actually, I'm pretty sure we both did. Or maybe we did.
I think it was like a London.
That's true. Guangzhou.
Wait, so how do you
expected them to
spell
do a bit
Quickie
better.
Predickie?
It's Quickie.
Too fast.
Quickie space Predickie. Quickie Predickie? Quickie Predickie? What? How did you spell it so bad? Quickie Predickie. How, dude? I spelled it so slow twice. I don't understand. Good enough. You know, you'll be able to read it. Or can you? I don't know. Oh my gosh.
Should I put my name in the top left corner?
If you want, put the date too.
Oh, well, we won't lose it if I do that.
No one's going to see a piece of paper and go, oh, Calder, I know that guy. He lives here. You're not that popular.
Dude, I look so hot right now.
You do. Yeah, even more than usual. No, don't. No. Okay. Yeah, London basically profit popped off in this game, but other than that, it was basically just like whatever.
Guangzhou did they lost on control, which I don't think they should have done against London because London's been absolute dick on control.
That's true.
But they lost on control because they ran Ryan Zarya for a lot of it, and they did well. But it's like that doesn't work, right?
Except it does work if you're Chengdu.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. But
okay.
Are you a witch in Minecraft, dude?
Yeah, dude. Florida versus Justice, as we predicted. Justice wins. It was close.
Obviously, dude.
It was somewhat close. It was a 3-2. Florida's been looking much better.
It was a reverse sweep, my guy.
It was a reverse sweep. Florida got 2 maps, but Corey Stratus and the boys, they stayed positive and they brought it back around. And,
bring it around town, baby.
This was the week of Washington for sure. Washington did great that
This
game.
is going to be the stage of Washington. They're going to win the entire season.
Now here is the T, boys. Shanghai faces Toronto. I predict a Toronto win. What happens? Toronto wins. No big deal. 2-1. They kind of... I mean, it was somewhat close, but they kind of clapped a little bit. Shanghai looked lost, and Logix is insane was basically the story of that match.
Yeah, how does Shanghai get so fucked up, huh?
Me no know. Me no know.
Me no conversation.
And then last for that day was Valiant versus Seoul, and this was actually a really important game for both teams, but more so for Valiant, and unfortunately they lost it 3-2 to Seoul.
Yeah, so another 2 games out of the play-in cutoff. Which is rough.
There are a couple roads to the playoffs for them, but it's going to be tough. They basically have to win all of their games, and some other things have to happen. But it is possible, and I really hope they do it. But we should.
Well, play. Actually, I was going to say they play Florida, so that's an easy one, but it's not anymore.
It's not really.
They play Boston, which is pretty much an easy clap, and then Glads and Chalk, so it's looking a little rough here, boys.
It's looking a little rough. I think they have to win 3 more of their games.
But then other people have to lose. Because if Guangzhou, Chengdu, and Atlanta keep winning...
Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
No, Shanghai could fall out, which is kind of...
That's true.
Sad to say, but...
But, yeah, it's kind of weird. Or it kind of sucks for Valiant because they lost. They won one of their games this week, but they lost against Seoul. And teams like Toronto. I mean, Toronto's eliminated, but at the time, Toronto, Chengdu, Atlanta, mostly those teams. Philly, like those teams. Houston did not do well this week, but like those teams are all getting wins, and Valiant's starting to struggle, so it's rough for them.
Yeah.
And even Florida and Washington and Toronto, who are all eliminated, they're still stealing wins off of people. So they're still messing with the game, you know?
Yeah. But that could help Valiant in the end
If that could.
but the teams they're beating are either too high up or too far down to affect the Valiant right now.
Yeah.
But if Washington runs through this stage like an easy clap boys that we know they are, I think
basically the
they'll
only team standing in the way of Washington getting a perfect stage is Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I
'cause
don't know
they
how
play
to feel about that, dude.
They play. So the only thing keeping either of them from getting a perfect stage.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, if that does happen in week 4.
I think Atlanta's facing slightly tougher teams. They don't play next week. They play Washington, London, Dallas, Boston. Never mind. They can probably easy clap all those. What about Washington? Are all their games easy? They face Boston, Houston, Atlanta. Yeah. So they basically both their main competition, both of them, is each other. Now, I could see Atlanta dropping the London game, but hopefully not.
The good thing for Atlanta is that this still matters. For Washington, I should probably get closer to my mic. For Washington, it doesn't matter really at all.
Yeah.
It's just more of a pride thing.
Well, yeah,
But
being able to say you
and I
guys thought
love
we were
watching
trash and then
pop
we got a
off.
perfect stage. That would say a lot. And they'd probably be able to get some better deals on players in the off season if people knew that they had potential to be a great team next season.
Yeah.
Then Friday, New York faced off against Paris. New York beat Paris. Paris has been looking not good at all. Cruz looks like he
Paris is
wants
just
to die
trash.
every day.
I think it's because his bowl cut's getting into his eyes.
Yeah. Houston faced off against Philly. Philly beat Houston. Made me sad because what's Houston doing and Philly's bad. I've got a little something to say about Philly, but I'm going to save it for the Toronto match. Chengdu versus Gladiators. We knew this was going to be a close one. I think one of us predicted Chengdu, one of us predicted Gladiators. Gladiators ended up pulling it away 3-2. Holy dude. No. He turned his gain the wrong way. Did you mute yourself? Okay, he muted himself while he spits in his mouth.
You're welcome.
Now the gain's way too high.
How, dude?
Every time you talk now, there's something in the background.
Maybe it's these nuts in your mouth.
Okay, it's fixed. Then Guangzhou versus Hangzhou. We knew Guangzhou would win. It was a 3-0 because Hangzhou's been looking bad.
We should do our power rankings from last night.
We'll talk about this after this, yeah. We'll talk about it right before the
We'll talk about this after
standings. Then Saturday, Atlanta faces off against Paris. Boom, clap, 4-0. Erster looking fantastic always. And Baby Bay and Enlayer subbing in and out. Enlayer's May has been looking quite good.
Baby Bay is always looking quite good.
Always. Dogman's been actually looking much better. A lot of the problems that he was struggling with in Goats. That's also true. His bowl cut looks way better than whatever spiky hair normie stuff he was doing before. But
no, that shit
that's
was
so
slick,
mean. Spiky
dude.
hair normie, dude. But his hair actually looks a lot better now. But his gameplay has actually been looking a lot better. The problems that he'd been having in stages 1, 2, and 3 have drastically improved.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably a meta thing. He seems to play a lot better on Ana than he does on Zen, but even on Zen he's been doing better. And he has a decent Moira as well. Mm-hmm. Florida versus London. Ooh, doggy boy. Florida 3-0's London.
This was the prophecy coming true. The books had said it. The books had written it. And then we set it, and it opens the door of the Pandora's box.
The books had written it.
The Pandora's box doors have opened.
This was not.
Forget that they're coming out. I didn't know.
Usually in a lot of games where an upset happens, people are like, it was like 50% one team doing bad, 50% the other team doing good. I'd honestly say this was like 30% London doing bad and like 70% Florida actually looking really good. Saya and Gargoyle looked fantastic. Chris looked really good.
I was watching Guangzhou London today after I watched Florida London to see what the difference was. And the difference was just that Florida was better because London looked pretty much the exact same. Like Prophet had moments where he popped off in both, but it was just Florida was somehow able to just win.
Yeah, Florida.
Because there were times where, like, there was a time when Prophet got a 3K, and then Uber's like, they almost lost that, but Prophet got a 3K. It's like, yeah, because if fucking London, what team won? Florida fucking kicked their dick hole in.
Yep.
Just like this.
But yeah, Florida actually looked really good.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Florida looked really, really good. It seems like they figured something out. Might just be a meta thing, but they looked a lot better against the season 1 champs.
Dude, if they win again, I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not actually gonna kill myself.
Me neither, but I'll be bummed. Nothing against London. It's just it would suck to win 2 seasons in a row based on a meta change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Watch it happen in season 3 too.
They'd have to change something. It would be like, stop doing this.
Either make the changes halfway or only hero patch balance changes.
And the thing too is, I'm not saying London didn't deserve it season 1. I'm just saying if if that happened twice in a row, it would be kind of poopy poo.
Yeah, I agree. I'd eat a whole twice the deal pizza, dude. We did that,
dude. Twice the deal is so good. I
I
want to go visit you at your home and eat pizza and then watch The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Oh, that sounds fun.
We'll do that.
That's a lot cheaper than going to see Hobbs and Shaw.
That's true. We could do that too, though. Fuel versus Valiant. Valiant finally pulls out a win, 3-1 against Fuel. Fuel been looking dog trash. Luckily, Zachary actually looked better.
A little better.
Taimu didn't look as good. Apparently, AKM's been out for some family issues, and he'll be back in, subbing in and out for Taimu.
Are the issues that he's French?
Then the next game was
I hope it's not something serious.
It was like family health issues. So
probably not that he's French, and they're pretty healthy over there. Just saying, dude. They got good food. All natural. No sodium chloroxides. Why are you just looking at me? I'm gonna dig myself a deeper hole.
That's why I'm being quiet. I was like, I wonder when he'll stop. Gladiators versus Shock. Everyone knew this was going to be close, and it was. But Shock won. Shock was a better team.
Here's the thing. You look at the schedule, you see a Shock on the thing, you see, oh, there's another one.
Gladiators have looked... Gladiators have...
You're just done with me. It's okay.
I just don't... It's not that I'm done with you, it's just how do I respond to that?
You just go, oh, that's really fun. Good job. Then pat me. Like a child.
But Gladiators have looked really good. It's just Shock have looked better. Rascal and Architect have looked very good. Sinatra, also good. Super, when he came in, looked good. I think he won the map that he was in on. I think he was in on 2. Anyway, doesn't matter. Shock's been looking good. They're probably the team that's been on top that has stayed the most consistently on top. Mm-hmm. So
Congratulations.
Then on Sunday...
This is a big day, boys.
Big day. Everything went right except one thing.
Big day.
Houston versus Atlanta. I didn't know how to feel going into this, but in the end I was like, I'm cheering for Atlanta because they have by far a better chance of getting into the playoffs and they're the better team. And honestly, unless Houston makes some massive changes in the offseason, yeah, that's all I'm thinking.
Not good, dude.
But yeah, Atlanta 3-1 Houston. Jake didn't play once. Jake's been looking great, but let's just not play him. There was a point where Linkser was shooting at Dogman. He was Hanzo, and he was shooting at Dogman with Storm Arrow, and he missed every single shot at like the perfect range, and everyone was like,
Jake
"Okay,
good at
dude."
Hanzo though?
I think he's all right, but also Jake's just good at everything.
Get him
Jake's
on
just
the
good at
rack, dude.
Now here's the thing: Philly versus Toronto. I predicted Toronto win. It almost happened, but it was a 3-2 for Philly. And I saw a comment in the discussion thread on Reddit that perfectly sums up my feelings. They said, "How is it that Philly always looks like the worst team, but they still win?" Because Toronto looked really good in this match. Like, they were doing really well. Philly did not look good in this match at all. Like, not a single player looked very good. EQO looked decent, but everyone else looked bad. Basically, Boombox looked all right, but basically everyone looked bad. Toronto had some standout players. Logix obviously did great. Mangachu was actually doing really, really well, and Aid on Baptiste was just crushing it. But hey, somehow Philly wins, and they give the player the match to Carpe because he's the recognizable name, even though he fed the entire time. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I had to say about Philly. Toronto's been looking better, which is good.
Mm-hmm. They'll be better next season.
I did read something that Toronto has been like doing some more like PR stuff and like focusing on more branding stuff, and it's kind of like taking scrim time away. But at this point, I think that might be a good call since the season's already lost. So building up a brand to get more fans for next season.
And they're running, I don't know if they're doing this in other regions, but they're running the sign up so that you get notified about tickets for the Toronto homestands.
I know that's happened for a couple other teams.
Yeah. Well,
but
they're not as good as Toronto, so it's fine.
Definitely not.
I hope that the fucking Shock, they probably won't, but I hope the Shock play in Toronto.
They might.
Or one of our teams.
I don't know why I said they probably won't.
I guess Houston would.
Houston might. Atlanta might. Honestly.
Houston, wait, where's Atlanta? Atlanta's Atlanta. Atlantic. Atlanta's Atlanta. Houston's Atlanta. Toronto's Atlanta. So Houston and Atlanta could come. Shock probably won't. I think I have a shit coming out of my asshole right now.
Nice. Let's wrap this up quick, maybe, or do you want to poop in the middle of the podcast?
Can I just go now and then we can just stitch her up? My asshole, I meant, not the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, dude.
It's okay. Editing's just a pain in my... Oh, Andy took his thing off.
Referencing this.
Be quick, maybe. In the dark, and he pointed at his butt. I think he's referencing that poop is coming out of his butt. And then Vancouver, Washington, the game.
I was gonna do a whole thing, and then I didn't really communicate that very well.
Okay, you go first. Well, I was counting down, and then you went. So now you go.
Bing, bang, boom, bong, bing, bang. You know what that is? That's the fireworks of victory, dude. Fuck Vancouver.
Oh.
Trash West Coast City. Fuck the color green, dude. It's ugly.
This speech is not supported by Adam Cook. This speech is not supported by Adam Cook.
Ugly, dude.
This speech is not supported by Adam Cook.
Corey hates anyone from Vancouver, and I can tell by the way he was
not
playing.
sponsor this message. Corey does not sponsor this message.
He looked at everyone in Vancouver. He said, "You're ugly, dude." And
there are no reports or proof that say that he called Vancouver ugly.
Anyway, Washington did absolutely crush Vancouver.
I got one more thing. I got one more thing to say. Why is this fucking thing? I'm pushing back and it's going to the exact same page. You know what that rain is in Vancouver, dude? It's your fucking tears, pussy. Wipe them away and get back to work because you're trash.
I nor Corey support what Calder just said at all. But it was an absolute crush. I think it was Sideshow, or it might have been a Vast. I don't know. Someone of somewhat importance said, some 4-0s, you look at it and it seems like a crush, but then you look at the map scores and you watch the game and it's not that much of a crush. Like, the maps were close. It's just one team came out on top ever so slightly every single time. No. This was an absolute destroy, crush. Washington obliterated Vancouver. And
That's so true.
this was the first game all season that Vancouver has entered map 3 0-2, which was just a sign, baby, that it was going to be a 4-0. Wah. And Corey, by the way, the whole team looked good, but Corey was on hard carry.
Oh, they were showing some of the highlights because it's hard to catch how difficult some of the shots they make are in real time. But they were showing some of the highlights. It's like he's shooting it between a shield, maze ice wall, a little crack in the ice wall due to one little pixel shows of the person right in their eyeball.
But this was probably one of the most exciting games to watch, just because it was like watching a really enjoyable player to watch just crusher a giant team. So Washington's in second place, only behind Atlanta. There are few things that would make me happier than that.
I was looking at it, and our 3 teams, because I think you've disowned Houston at this point.
I'm like 89% disowned Houston at this point.
Our 3 teams are up there. Our team, Washington, my team, the Shock, and then of course the Kings of the league.
Why'd you go in basically the opposite order of what it is? It's my team, our team, your team.
Yeah, I did that in a bad order.
Here,
why would I?
You're down here, and we're both right here.
We were like literally level.
That's true. Dude, our brains work the same. That's why Washington's in second.
Atlanta's first, Shock's third. Get fucked out the rest of the league. If you're trying to play a game against any of them, just smash your computer, dude. You're bad. You're not good enough.
And also, what are the teams we hate?
Any of them.
Okay, well.
Oh, Philly, London.
Okay, well.
Boston sometimes.
I guess that was a dumb question to ask. Paris.
Or Houston sometimes. Oh, yeah, Paris. We hate Paris.
I don't know why I asked that question. Basically, of the teams that we usually give a lot of crap, London's the only one in the stage playoffs. Wait, why do they have a stage playoffs cutoff if there's no stage playoffs?
Because dumb. And they knew there was no stage playoffs before.
I don't know.
Like they said that at the start of the season.
That's just too lazy to remove it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Or I guess it's nice to see, just for knowledge.
Well, we
won't have that.
We won't even have that tab, dude.
That bums me out, dude. That would be such a fun stage playoffs. Washington, Atlanta, Chengdu, Valiant.
But I mean, last season everyone was like, why are you doing this? And they probably took that and
it just makes me want to cry.
But I think they get more money if they played more games. I think that's how that works.
So it just bums me out because Washington and Atlanta and like they finally have a big time to shine, and it's not even gonna happen. Atlanta might in the playoffs, but as much as I love Atlanta, the likelihood of them making it super far unlikely unless Erster continues to hard carry
7 or 8, like through the 7 or 8.
Well, they're definitely making play-ins, basically.
No, but like the play-in tournament, I could see them making it through there.
Yeah, I could honestly see. I don't want to here's the thing. I don't want to over predict and be like super fanboy-y, but I also don't want to be like, they're probably not going to make it far, and then they win and me be like, this is what I was saying the whole time, because it's not. But I feel like the farthest Atlanta could go is probably quarterfinals.
Yeah, because then they meet actually
they could make semifinals.
If they make it past quarterfinals, because they'd be playing one of the top teams depending on where they seed.
It's basically because once you get to that point, it's Shock, New York,
Well, here's the thing: they
London,
can probably
Vancouver.
both of them in 2-2 because New York's look like they're fucking blind, dude.
That's the thing. Like
and
you
the
and I,
Titans are just lost to a popping off Hanzo.
all season we've been saying it's got to be Vancouver or Shock, but at this point, I think I mentioned it. I mentioned it to you in person for sure, but I might have mentioned it on podcast. Honestly, Shock deserves to win the season because they were dominant in GOATS meta for 3 stages, and they're still doing well in this new meta, whereas the other teams that were on top are struggling.
Yeah.
Except here's the
we
thing.
talked
I
about-
should say this. Washington's game against Vancouver just shows that Vancouver like can be very weak and can get crushed, but like they still dominated in their other 2 games.
But this could be like a, because remember when New York kind of got fucked on in the last stage?
It could be a
And
New
everyone's
York style downfall. I don't think Vancouver's out of it. I do think they could be beaten, but
Because Runaway has had some losing problems before.
that's true. Also, just to wrap up the games, because we've kind of gotten into the standings, I'm just going to say Chengdu also 4-0'd Vancouver, and it was a great match. Or, sorry, 4-0'd New York, and New York did not look very good at all.
It was a great match, but it wasn't like because of what already happened.
It wasn't a
It wasn't
nail-biter.
like, yeah. Because you saw them go up 2-0, and you're like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yep.
Because also, New York looked like fucking trash, dude.
New York is 14th right now, below Florida. Below Florida. That's all I gotta say. But yeah. So let's keep talking about standings, because whatever.
How about we do our power rankings that we made last night
Okay, so
to put them in a more public forum?
I should mention, for the last, was it the last 2 games or was it just the last game? For like the last 1.5 matches of Sunday, Calder and I
It was
were
just the last game.
okay. Just the last game. Calder and I were watching the game together and streaming it Avast style on my channel, and we might do this in the future too, because it would kind of force us to watch more games, and it's a fun way to watch because we get to watch together as friends and with viewers.
Yeah.
So, but while we did it, we were like, hey, you know what? Since we're basically just copying Avast at this point, let's do some power rankings. So we did them. Maybe I'll put this on screen. Maybe I won't. You know what? I will. Maybe I won't.
So,
Maybe
so the
I will.
rankings.
Oh.
So the
Oh.
rankings were
You want to just
Justice
alternate?
number 1.
Okay, yeah, let's just talk about the top ones and then basically go through the trash
So
ones.
in S tier, number 1 tier, boys, number 1 tier. These are this stage power rankings, not whole season power
Yeah.
rankings. Because if you do whole season power rankings, it's fucking dumb. Because that's not what this is. This is a new season, boys.
It's a new state.
S tier.
We need to
But it's
clarify
basically a new
very,
season.
very clearly that this is
stage.
just stage 4 power rankings.
Stage 4. This is just the stage 4 power rankings. This is not including stages 1, 2, or 3. Just stage 4.
So first place is Justice, just because they're absolute crusher boying them. We know
And they
Atlanta's ahead of them in the standings technically, but that's just because one of Justice's games went to map 5, so they've just lost one more map than Atlanta because of
And
that.
Justice has played some harder opponents.
Yeah. So because of
So,
those two things, we put Justice above Atlanta.
But then we've got Atlanta second, and then
Because
we've got Shock
They've been
third.
doing great. Basically, these are the 3 undefeated teams. Shock's played one less game, but they're still undefeated.
I don't really like who's gonna fucking beat the Shock, dude.
I don't know, maybe. I
These
don't know.
trash monkeys.
But Justice, Atlanta, and Shock have basically all looked really good. And they've looked good in that order. Justice has looked pretty dominant, honestly. And all of their weaknesses have gone away. Like Sansam and Giannis have both actually been looking great.
Yeah.
They brought Guido back in instead of Sleepy, and Guido's actually been looking great. Neko's been popping off. It's just all been great. Corey and Stratus have been great. Atlanta, it's basically been the Erster show, but Enlayer and Baby Bay have also been looking really good, with Dogman also improving a bunch. FRD is in instead of Dako most of the time, but he's still been pulling his weight quite well. They just
Fry.
all, and I know, but friggin' every single caster and analyst calls him FRD. Avast calls him Fred.
Wow, you want to just be
Basically an Avast fanboy, dude. And then Shock, they haven't been looking like as dominant as Justice in Atlanta. I will say that just from watching them. They have some down moments, but they've just got such a deep roster that they can do anything they want.
They're just a good team.
Like they could pick
just
all
like
of
a
the
well-built team too.
They could pick all of like the worst players for like a roster and still beat almost every team. Then that's tier 1. Then we drop to tier 2. By the way, there's 4 tiers and then a kind of a mystery tier, which we'll get into. But so second tier, first is Hunters, because they 4-0'd New York and have just been looking
so
really good
doing it, dude.
They did. They played Ryan. Well, that we were gonna mention that they played Ryan Zarya, but actually succeeded in doing so.
Yeah,
and
it's not a high percentage play though.
No. Then Charge, because they lost against Gladiators,
and they lost against London.
That's who I'm thinking of. Did they also lose against?
I don't think they lost against Gladiators. I just didn't want you to sound like a dummy dumb.
No, they did not lose against Gladiators. They won against.
They haven't even played them. Yeah, they just lost against London.
Yeah. So they lost against London, but London, is just very weird.
Inconsistent.
But
Nero has kind of revealed himself. He's blossomed like a beautiful flower.
Yeah. And Happy's also been doing great.
Yeah.
Eileen a little bit. Yeah. Charge has been looking really good. And then under them we put Spitfire. We had to put them this high because they beat Charge.
Well, they're also a really good team. It's just like
they
really
have great players.
Really good. Yeah, you don't know if it's going to be the really good team showing up.
I think that their coaching is lackluster. Is their main issue. Because they always do really well at the beginning of a new meta, but then because of their individual play. But then as soon as people start to figure it out, they start to kind of waver. But and we kind of had to put them somewhat close to Charge because they did beat Charge, but we still put them below Charge because Charge has been more consistently good.
I think Charge is a better bet.
Yeah. So that's tier 2. Then tier 3 is a big old chunk tier.
Yeah, it's kind of the middle of the pack tier.
We'll just kind of whiz through this a little bit. We put Valiant at the top of tier 3 because Valiant have been doing well still. They seem to be doing a little less good, but I don't think it's them being bad. I think it's just they have a tough stage.
Yeah.
Then Titans. Titans got 4-0'd by Justice. That's enough said. And they looked bad doing it.
And they've looked good. Like they looked good last week. But that was because Haxall just killed the entire team. Haxall and Hureg just fucking murdered everyone. And that's not a good team. That's just 2 good players killing everything.
And you could maybe argue that, like, they just didn't prepare for this match because they were too busy preparing for... who else did they face?
I don't think they had another match.
Oh, they didn't. Even more so. If you're not willing to prepare for every match, then that just shows a coaching issue as well.
Or maybe they were super prepared and they still fucked it up.
Yeah, so any way you look at it, bad. And if they threw the match on purpose, which I don't think they did.
Sandbagging, dude.
Then that's just going down the New York Season 1 route, and that's not good. Then we put Gladiators. Gladiators have looked good. Honestly, looking at this, Gladiators should probably be a little bit higher.
I'd probably switch them in Valiant, honestly.
Yeah. I would agree with that. But
I think it's because we watched Reinforce's thing, and we were both like, that's such a fucking dumb reason to have Gladiators so high. So we kind of reacted to that. But I think if we switch Gladiators and Valiant, this would be more accurate to what we think.
But, yeah. And then after that, we have Mayhem. Holy cow, is Mayhem so high? But they've actually been looking like a good team. It's not just them being like, oh, because Florida's always kind of been the team that's like sucked, and then all of a sudden they do decent, and everyone's like, you know what? Florida has a chance to turn it around, and then they immediately do bad again. But they genuinely looked good.
Yeah, like they looked well prepared. They looked like their strategies were working, and they were able to execute the strategies that they planned.
Yeah. Under Mayhem, we have Dragons. Dragons, they've been looking. They have good clutch players. They just look a little lost.
Yeah.
Then after that, we have Excelsior. They
Weird,
should
dude.
be doing fantastic. They should be
Yeah.
doing really well,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not.
They got such great DPS players, and we talked about this last night. Like, they have Flower, who they play, but then they lose the map, and it's not even because of him, though.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing that happens.
Yeah.
So, because you think you bring Flower into pretty much any team off the bench, that should be an upgrade.
Yeah.
And I guess it is, but it doesn't seem like it is.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
I don't know.
I was thinking about it. There's not really any team that Pine or Flower could go to and improve the team much. No one really needs them.
Yeah. And if you can trade them there, the language barrier might be bad.
Yeah.
Because, like, if the team does, need a person at that position that's that good, it might not work because of communication.
My forehead is absolutely gigantic. I'm just
Nice.
looking at it right now. Holy.
You look
Anyway,
kind of like
let's go.
Super, dude. Oh, shit, that they're blending the bodies.
Now
Then we've
next,
got our-
it goes a tier down. This is tier 4. But looking at it, I think the top of tier 4 is Defiant. I honestly think Defiant should be bottom of tier 3. It's the same spot, but I don't think they're quote-unquote Pepega tier. Because they've been
Yeah.
looking good. So I'd actually say they're right under Excelsior, and then it's tier 4.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So if that is the case, then top of Pepega tier is Eternal. They've just been looking so not good. They
just
look
haven't
lost.
looked good ever.
Soon looked good last week, and that's about it. And then he didn't look
Yeah.
good this week, and they just all look very lost. Then we have Fuel. Fuel's just downwards trajectory. There's got to be some sort of curse cast upon that team because they just can never do it. And then Uprising have basically been invisible.
Yeah, what the fuck is that, dude? They signed Moofin, though.
That is true. Well, Academy did.
Oh, yeah. They're not good enough to sign him.
But I
They don't have
am
the balls,
convinced that they will bring Mufin up in the offseason because...
I don't think RCK is working out for it.
Well, yeah, we discussed this. It was a good trade at the time because RCK's flexibility was very beneficial in GOATs. But now that it's 2-2-2, you kind of want someone who's just like a solid off-tank player.
Off-tank.
And
Yeah.
Mufin is that, and I think Uprising will bring him up and either use him or train him, bring him up, and then sell him.
Which is, I feel like the second option is more likely the Uprising.
That's true.
It's
It is the Uprising.
You know?
And Huck just wants
They
that
sell
cash
literally
money.
anyone.
So those are the 4 tiers, but then there's a 5th tier, which is the what tier,
Yeah.
where you just never know with these teams, so we didn't really feel comfortable putting them in any specific spot. And those teams, they are in an order. First is Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
They're a good team. It's just sometimes they can't.
They're just fucking
They
bad,
can't.
dude.
Like, they
But
have
they're
so
good,
much
but they're
potential,
bad.
and sometimes they look so good, but you just never know what soul is going to be on the stage.
And at the start of the season, like, I think stage 2, we kind of talked about this, how you look at the team and you're like, this is like an all-star team.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not really that team anymore,
No.
but they have the potential to be, because they have some really good players, but then you watch them play and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
They will be in the play-in tournament, and I guess we'll see how well they do. But you never know with them. And then we have the Outlaws, who seem to do well when they have no idea what they're doing, because they work well on the fly, which kind of just shows that their coaching is bad. Because like the players do well when they're like, we have to figure something out, let's do this. But they don't do well when the coach is like, do this, and they're like, okay, and then they fail. So you never really know what's going to happen with the Outlaws.
Just get rid of the coaches, dude. Make Jake the bench coach, and then he's just fucking... It's fine, dude.
True.
Fun.
And then we have the Spark. Weird to see the Spark at the very bottom, considering how well they did last stage. But the Spark...
They've got so many question marks around them. Like the Crystal thing, that's definitely affecting how they play. Because that's like the organization.
It's just a weird team environment thing.
They're not focused on stage 4 anymore. They're like, this guy's just fucking gone.
It's like, should we focus on doing well in this stage so that we get a good playoff spot so that we possibly win the whole season? Or should we just constantly crap on this 19-year-old on social media?
But here's the thing. It goes back and forth of who's wrong. Because then Hangzhou will release something and they'll be like, he's just... Like, we tried, dude.
I've stopped clicking on Crystal articles because I'm like, they're just both dumb in this situation.
Yeah. And it's definitely affecting how the team plays. Because, every player on that team thinks about it.
Yeah.
And it affects the team house. And it affects...
Yeah.
Scrims and just everything.
Yep. So Spark is at the very bottom of the question mark tier because what?
Yeah.
All right. That's our power rankings for week 2 of
Predickie.
stage 4. Let's do some Quickie Predickies. We'll just glaze through these and then we'll end the episode. Are you ready to write these down? Do you have like an A column and a C column?
What is that? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like an Adam column and a Calder column. How long is it? I feel like we should create some sort of spreadsheet, dude. Okay, cool.
I'm God. Because I'm the Quickie Predickie God.
Incorrect. I guess we'll start to see now. London, Vancouver.
Holy fuck, sorry. I think London.
I'm gonna say Vancouver. You got it?
Yeah.
All right. Paris, Philly. I'm gonna say
This
Philly.
It's gonna be one of those games where Philly just.
I'm not gonna watch that game. That sounds like an absolute nightmare game. Ooh,
Philly.
Toronto, Florida.
Ooh. Logic's former home. Florida. I think Florida's going better.
I'm gonna say that's a tough one. I'm gonna say Toronto just to be different.
Okay.
But
It
could go
from the other girls.
I could see that going either way. Guangzhou, Seoul. I'm gonna say Guangzhou. Boston, Washington. I'm gonna say Washington. Easy clappers.
Washington. We don't even need to do Washington's prayer for that one.
Dallas versus Gladiators. I'm gonna say Gladiators. Man, these are some easy predickies. Shock versus Dragons. I'm gonna say Shock.
Yeah.
Hangzhou, New York.
Yeah.
Both of those teams are kind of in a slump, but I think New York has
New
better
York's
individual play.
Yeah.
Houston, Spitfire. Spitfire.
Sorry, Adam.
That's all good. I agree. Seoul, Toronto. I'm gonna go out
Toronto,
on a
dude.
same dude.
You're gonna say you're going out on a limb and then immediately agree.
Well, because I was hoping you wouldn't interrupt, and then I'd be able to make something profound.
It's not really profound if I say the exact same thing after.
Okay. Mayhem, Valiant. I'm gonna say Valiant.
Oh shit! I'm gonna say Mayhem.
Whoa.
We've agreed on everyone since Toronto, Florida.
Well, Chengdu, Hangzhou, Chengdu.
Yeah.
Chengdu is the... Oh, I forgot to put Quickie Predickie up.
It's okay, dude.
Oh, that's not it. Whatever, dude. Let's do this. Quickie Predickie. It's too late though. Whatever.
Philly, Vancouver.
Philly, Vancouver. I'm gonna say Vancouver.
I don't think Vancouver's going to be that bad next week.
No.
Washington.
Unless
Houston?
Philly does their dumb thing where they look bad. That's a Washington win. Houston bad. Sorry, boys. Fire your coaches. Sorry, Tyrong. Shock Dallas. Shock.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. And then, ooh,
Lemon squeeze,
Guangzhou.
dude.
Guangzhou, New York.
They just played, right?
Did they?
Am I dumb? I think they literally played last week.
Nope. Untrue.
No, I'm just a stupid bitch. Oh, I'm just a simple bitch. Okay.
You were thinking Chengdu. I'm gonna say Guangzhou.
I'm gonna say Guangzhou.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Guangzhou as well. We agreed with most of them, but I feel like that was gonna happen anyway.
So we only disagreed on 3.
Which ones?
Vancouver, London, Toronto, Florida, and Valiant, Florida. I picked Florida both times and London. You picked the other. I'm
Interesting.
gonna turn this fucking light off now.
All right, so I guess we'll find out next week now that now that we actually wrote it
Dude, I
down.
hope I don't throw this shit out.
So those were the Quickie Predickies. Thank you for watching and listening to this episode. We'll catch you next week for week 3. Thank you. Be sure to... Nice. Oh, good way of, like, the lines.
I didn't want to write the shit twice, dude.
Good call. So, good...
9.
Thank you for watching and listening. Be sure to do whatever the things are that make you
Are you gonna end this shit soon? What's happening?
I was trying to say like and subscribe, but then I couldn't find the words. Do what you want. Have a good day. Play some Overwatch. Watch the league. 222 is a lot better to watch. Love you. Bye.
That's
I'm gonna
so
go roast
true.
some marshmallows with my mom.
All right. I can't yell, but I would if I wanted to.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Broverwatch podcast.
Have you ever seen that Vine?
Here's
where
the
it's
thing. At first, I was like, "Oh, that's an uh-oh," and then it was like, "Oh no, he's not okay."